Hello, I'm Blake, President of Master Wholesale. I have over 20 years of experience selling tile and stone tools. I have tested and used all the tile saws we sell to make sure they meet our quality standard prior to offering them for sale at Master Wholesale. Using these testing methods, we are going to do our first tile saw comparison video. We will be rating the best-selling large format tile saws that cut at least 24 inches and have a tilting head. The things we'll be evaluating are weight, portability, ease of assembly, cutting speed, length of cut, depth of cut, price, out-of-the-box accuracy, tray play, water containment, online ratings by customers, available service centers, and warranty. So we're going to start the video by assembling all four saws. To do this, we're going to have our Master Wholesale tile saw assemblers come out here and start by assembling the Dewalt 2400, and we'll see how long it takes to get these saws together and ready to run.
We'll be speeding up this part of the video to keep the length of the video reasonable. If you're interested in seeing the saw assembled at regular speed, we'll be posting a video on how to assemble the saw. I can tell you that the Dewalt saw takes about 13 minutes to put together.
So now we're going to check out the tray play on the Dewalt tile saw. As you can see, there's very little tray play in this saw. Tray play is important because if the tray moves around too much, you can get a crooked cut, and on harder porcelains, it'll actually break the tile before it gets to the end. The other thing that we're going to do here is we're going to turn the saw on here in a few minutes and see how much water spills off of the saw. We're having a wet tent, so after we're done making the 3 cuts showing how fast the saw cuts, we'll do a close-up on the wet tent and see if we've got any water on the back walls and stuff. So, okay.
Again, we'll be speeding up the video. The Dewalt saw will make the 3 cuts in about 42 seconds.
The other thing that we want to show here is how easy the saw converts to do a 45-degree cut on, and in this case, this saw also does a 22, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. So, reach back here, turn the knob, put it up to 40, put it up to 45. Turn the saw on and cut.
As you can see, the Dewalt tile saw has very little overspray on the back and really none on the bottom of the tent. Again, we're going to be speeding up the video. I'll have to say the Imer goes together quicker than the rest of the saws with a 6-minute assembly time ready to cut.
Next we'll be testing the Imer 200DA. As you can see, this has a solid tray, but it does have a head that moves frontwards and backwards, so if we have any play, it's going to be in here. As you can see, there's virtually no play. This particular saw is cuts very straight out of the box, and we're going to go ahead and make our 3 cuts with this.
Again, speeding up the video to save some time. The Imer will get the 3 cuts done in about 47 seconds.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and show how quickly this saw converts over to do a 45-degree cut and make a cut. This saw, one of the unique things about this saw is not only does it do a 45, but it can do anything in between. You can lock the saw in at whatever angle you want. So none of the other saws have that ability. We're going to go ahead and put it on a 45 and make a cut.
The Imer definitely has some water on the bottom of the wet tent. If you were working indoors, were in a finished house, you would probably want to have it in a wet tent or be cutting outside. We're going to speed up again to save some time here. The Husqvarna is going to go together in about 14 minutes. We will also be posting a full-length video in real time on how to assemble the Husqvarna saw, so be looking out for that if you're interested.
This is a TS60 from Husqvarna. It has a unique feature of the water pouring through the blade trough, so as you're cutting, the blade's picking the water up out of the trough, which results in less overspray. It can also be ran the conventional way with water coming down from above onto the blade by using this knob. We're going to run it in the tray trough mode because that's the desired method, would be to have less water spraying around. So let's see how fast this one cuts.
Again, we'll be speeding up this part of the video, save a little time. This saw will get the 3 cuts done in about 46 seconds.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and show the saw doing a 45. This one's a little bit different. You have to lift it up, or you can put it into a 45. Turn it over. Drop it back down, and we're going to run it in, turn this knob so that the water pours directly down onto the blade. And we're going to go ahead and make our cut. This saw will also do a 22 degree, so we're going to do a 45 right now. I will mention that this saw is probably a little louder than I personally would like, so anyway.
As you can see, this saw has really zero overspray or water at the bottom of the wet tent. I will mention when it was in 45 degree cut that there was a little bit, but still really good. We're going to go ahead and speed it up here for you to get through it a little quicker. This saw has a lot of parts and pieces. Took us 52 minutes to assemble, and I actually had to help a little bit on this one to get her together. It's the only one that needed 2 people to get it together. So anyway, go ahead and check it out.
Okay, so the last saw we're looking at here today is the Ridgid tile saw. It has some cool features. It has a laser built into it. Also has an LED light back there, so if you're in a darker room, you can see what you're doing a little bit better. Has a collapsible stand with wheels on it. Makes it a little easier to move around. It also has the ability to run off a garden hose, which is kind of nice if your pump goes out. So let's check for tray play here. In the extended position, I would say the saw has a lot of tray play. The other thing I want to show is how to check a saw for square. Sometimes you can get a saw assembled at some stores. You can check it and make sure it's cutting square pretty good. We checked all the other saws, but I wanted to just go through it one time on this saw so you can see what we checked. All the saws we checked came out of the box cutting pretty square. So we just put the square down here, we're going to push it through, and we're going to look for there to be no daylight as we travel the length of the saw. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do our 3 cuts. See how fast this thing cuts and how much water it sprays around.
Again, we're going to speed it up here a little bit, get through the video a little quicker. This saw gets the 3 cuts done in 44 seconds.
Okay, real quick, we're just going to show how the Ridgid cuts at 45. Just loosen the knob back here. It also has a 22.5, just like the Dewalt Husqvarna, but we're going to do a 45 cut and see how quickly it can get her done. There's a little bit more overspray when we're cutting 45, and the tray made a little move right at the end, which caused the saw to break the tile just as it was coming through. So, alright, that's it. Okay, we want to start out with the Ridgid. This saw, I would have to say, wasn't one of my favorites. It had a lot of tray play. It took a long time to assemble. There's a lot of stuff to put together on this, so if you really want to know that you can have the time to put it together, because you're going to spend a little bit of time with this. It does have a lot of cool features and is priced really good, so that's something to take into consideration when comparing it with the other saws.
Okay.
So the Husqvarna is, I would have to say I like the saw. It did have a little bit more tray play than I'd like to see when it's fully extended. It also was a little bit louder than I'd like. But that being said, it cuts nice and straight. It cut fast. It assembled pretty easily, and virtually almost no water overspray at all. So I don't have to. That's the really nice feature of this saw. It does cost a little bit more than the rest of the saws we tested here today, so that's one of the things that needs to be taken into consideration when you're looking at the overall picture. So, okay. The Dewalt tile saw is, in my opinion, probably one of the better saws we've looked at. Comes out of the box, assembles nicely, cuts fast, it has very little tray play, it's easy to handle. From what I've seen with online ratings and customer feedback, definitely the contractor's choice for tile saws, and it's priced really well. The last one is the Imer, which is the overhead cutting saw. Zero play in this saw. You take it out of the box, cuts really straight. Does have a little bit more water going on the floor than the other saws, and could probably, in my opinion, use just a little bit more power, but if you want a saw that's just really easy to get out of the box, get up and running, and cut straight all day long, this is the saw, because there's nothing to put it together and it cuts straight every time. So